Chennai to Bangalore இப்போ நம்ம போற டைம் வந்து ஒரு 5 to 6 hours. ஆனா ஹைப்பர் போனா only 25 minutes ல இருந்து Bangalore reach ஆகலாம் Chennai.
People can live 200 kilometers away from Chennai and reach Chennai in 30 minutes. They can ship the goods to Sri Lanka in 10 minutes. Hyperloop not necessarily it has to work above the ground or under the ground. It can also work under the ocean.
Hyperloop பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு புது mode of transportation. So basically it is going at very high speeds of 1000 kilometers per hour. இப்போ நம்ம கார்ல போனா speeds that we see are 200 kilometers per hour. ட்ரெயின்ல போனா 400 500 or flightல போனா maximum speeds பார்த்தா 700 800. ஆனா 1000 kilometers per hour இப்போ கேட்டாலே it's like அது பாசிபிளே கிடையாது. ஆனா Hyperloop ஒரு டெக்னாலஜி யூஸ் பண்ணா 1000 kilometers per hour ஈஸியா போயிடலாம். அப்படினா சென்னை டு பெங்களூர் இப்போ நம்ம போற டைம் வந்து ஒரு 5 to 6 hours. ஆனா Hyperloopல போனா only 25 minutes. 25 மினிட்ஸ்லேருந்து பெங்களூர் ரீச் ஆகலாம் சென்னை. ஸோ அது வந்து ஃப்ளைட்டில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த ட்ராவல் டைமே 30 minutes. அதுக்கு 1 hour செக்இன் டைம், பெங்களூர் டிராஃபிக் நம்மளுக்கு தெரியும். ஸோ டோட்டல் 25 minutes சென்னையிலேருந்து பெங்களூர் போயிடலாம். அதுதான் இந்த ஹைப்பர்லூப் டெக்னாலஜி. அண்ட் ஹைப்பர்லூப் ஃபியூச்சர் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஸோ இந்தியா இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கண்ட்ரீஸ் டு accept ஹைப்பர்லூப். ஸோ இந்தியாவில் ஆல்ரெடி தேவ் ஸ்டார்டட் ஒர்க்கிங் ஆன் த மும்பை புனே ஹைப்பர்லூப் அண்ட் நவ் there is another proposal from Amritsar to Chandigarh in Punjab. So that's another proposal. So India is very much growing. So Hyperloop has a lot of scope. If we see as a proper hyperloop, full scale hyperloop for the people. So இது வந்து actually a very infrastructure heavy project. ஒரே ஒரு company, suppose we have a company and if one company just comes into the picture and says that I'm building hyperloop, they cannot do it because it requires thousands and thousands of crores just to build the hyperloop. It requires a lot of government support and the land acquisition and time frame, budget. இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப important factors. So government support is actually very important even for full scale. So நாங்க வந்து actually a student team, so we come under the institute. So luckily because it's government institute, we got a lot of support in different aspects.
Or hyperloop la how many people can travel, like one in single hyperloop?
So it depends on the size of the pod. The one that was proposed by Virgin Hyperloop from Mumbai to Pune, it can carry about 40 people at a time. So it's kind of like a minibus, you can say. And for 40 people carrying them at one point, it's a really big thing. But it can be extended. You can get about the maximum I feel you can get is about 100 people, because beyond that, even if you increase the length of the pod, you also have to increase the diameter of the tube as well. Like building that kind of infrastructure, it's not that feasible at this point of time, I feel.
And what are the safety measures taken to build this hyperloop? Like people inside the vacuum, like what kind of brake systems and how are the safety measures taken for this?
A hyperloop pod has different subsystems such as batteries, propulsion. So there can be high voltage systems inside, there can be high current systems, there can be pressurized tanks inside, there can be some issues in the electronics. So let us say if the voltage of the batteries is falling too fast, or if the current is suddenly increasing too much, in that case you have to shut off the high voltage batteries and then move slowly from one station to another, instead of working at the same voltage. If you are finding some leak, so there are sensors to identify some leak inside the pressure vessel. So if the pressure vessel is leaking, so it is not safe for the people who are traveling. Even in that case, do some emergency measures such as slow down the pod and then move slowly. Or there are something like emergency brake system. So there's primary brake system, there's secondary brake system. So if one type of brake system fails, pods will still be able to come to a halt. Also, all the sensor data from the pod is sent to the offices or whoever is monitoring the system, so that he can know if something is going wrong from the readings of different sensors, or something is going wrong with the software, something is going wrong with the electronics. So all those things are also sent out by communication outside, so that they can also take some action from sitting remotely, and so that the safety of all the passengers inside the pod can be ensured.